Intel, you lift with Auntie Sheila. We are all connected. I'm so delighted that you are here. It's one of the best parts of my life sharing these messages with all of you. Yeah, I have to tell you, today's topic, I think it's going to resonate with so many of you. Sharon, longtime subscribers, sending a shout out. Thank you. You are indeed the inspiration to today's message. I want to jump right in with Sharon's note, and I have a lot to say on this topic. Triggered all the time. Triggered all the time. What do you do when your relationship is bad for you, even if you really want that relationship? Here we go. Dear Sheila, I'm struggling. If something does not change soon, I'm not sure of the quality of my life moving forward. I was married for 12 years. I am divorced for 4 years now. Before and during the marriage, our relationship was turbulent, far more downs than ups, and filled with fighting over big and small things. The relationship became toxic and filled with triggers for both of us. My ex is remarried, and here's the rub. He is happier than I've ever seen him. Everything I asked for, this woman has received. For the last few years, I ask the kids, what is he like with her at home? And they tell me they laugh, they joke, they kiss all the time. He just took her and my kids on a cruise and announced they are expecting a baby. He is even nicer to me now. He is genuinely glowing. I wanted more children. I wanted to travel with him, and I can't ever remember laughing like that in our marriage. I begged for all these things, and all I got was more fighting, even after marriage counseling. He has moved on, and I am still single. I don't look or feel my best. I'm watching this woman live the life I was supposed to have. Nothing against her. It's just hard to watch. Sharon. OMG. You've come to the right station, the right place today. I have some things that I want to share with you. It's a little bit like that old fashioned, that bitter cherry cough medicine. Maybe your grandmother gave it to you when you were, it may go down hard, but then you feel better. So understand that everything I share with you, everything I share inside of this channel, I'm coming at all of you from the perspective of very deep compassion, a lot of empathy, and a deep understanding of what can happen when you don't drill down your life resilience plan, these mental health concepts. This is my life's work. I've prepared for it all my life, and I'm just determined to reach as many people as I possibly can. So having said that, let me say this. Relationships are endlessly fascinating to me. I am stunned by who we can become inside of these extraordinary combinations, if you will. But I am equally awed by how the wrong match can actually, I've seen it destroy lives, destroy fortunes, destroy mental health. So look, Sharon, I know you're talking to your friends, girlfriends, friends in general are awesome, but the issue there when it comes to something like this, your friends can be somewhat biased. There's these allegiances. And yes, I'm in your corner. I'm positioned in your life in a different way. So Auntie Sheila is going to give it to you straight. I'll give it straight between the eye. That's really the only way I know how to share it. It was 12 years. Okay, that's a lot. It's not like 2 years, a year. It was 12 years. It sounds like you mentioned marriage counseling. It sounds like you both fought for it. If the rainbows and unicorns didn't come out to play in those 12 years, there's a snowball's chance in hell that it was going to happen. Let me tell you why. Because sometimes it's not always about the you with him, him with you. It's the combination, you see. It's the combination. There are these chemical mixes, if you will, the brew of you and me, the brew of us. You know, if I take ketchup over here, that's delicious by itself. I have my green tea, which is right here. I give you the cheers. Individually, cool. You know, put them together, it doesn't work out. But you got your green tea with your shortbread cookies that taste pretty good. You know, you with your ketchup, you know, you're going to put it on a tasty sandwich or something like that. Oftentimes we need to have a lot more conversations about the goodness of fit, you see, and the quality of the mix. So, you know, I've been candid with all of you on this channel. You know, I myself, I've mentioned a couple relationships from the past, and one in particular was extremely, extremely triggering for me. Now, we all evolve. At the time I was in this relationship, I was struggling with a lot of issues, you know, mainly daddy issues, which I've made a video for you about. Please dive into that 15-minute cure for your daddy issues. I had that. The person I was involved with, he was dealing with mommy issues, had come from an extremely abusive past. Almost everything triggered him. And I'll tell you what my big takeaway from that relationship: if someone has not dealt sufficiently with the innards of their life, what drives them, what moves them, it is very difficult to maintain a healthy relationship. Then you put two people together. You know, I hadn't unpacked my stuff at that point in time, and we were off to the races. You know, I distinctly remember telling him about various triggers, you know, the abandonment issues, this, that, and the third. And if I didn't know any better, I would think the man listened to everything that I said, like in every way that you could trigger someone. Like, I'm going to use your past basically to torment you. I'm going to use the underbelly of, you know, everything that you would find hurtful and disturbing. That's what I'm going to do. Welcome to the relationship. You know, you don't kind of disappear for a day or two. Hey, you know, what's going on? Where were you? Oh, you know, really busy with work. I was meaning to call. This type of nonsense. When someone has abandonment issues, that's not really where you want to go with it. So it was an extremely tumultuous, triggering, toxic relationship. And one thing I can tell you for sure, if you've ever been involved in something like that, it's draining from the inside out. And I fully believe, yes, we talk about clinical things and practical advice and information on this channel, but this is also a spiritual channel. And I can tell you, I don't believe in any shape, form, or fashion that kind of stress and distress is what God intended. I just don't. And no one's going to tell me any different. So Sharon, I have to say, you know, in your note, you've made it very clear. You've said yourself, Sheila, fighting even after the therapy, the things that I wanted, I never got. And now here's someone else, and I'm looking at it, and you know, in Technicolor right before me, and he is a different man. I want to say a couple words about that. You know, again, relationships endlessly fascinating. I don't know these two people that you're talking about, but I can tell you this. Evidently, and this has nothing to do, it's no indictment on you. I'm come back to you in a second. But evidently, he has found someone that, you know, jives with him. They have a chemical mix. They're moving and shaking. You've said it. He's happy. I want you to stop talking to your children about what is going on when they're spending time with their father and their stepmother. Your only concern should be, are they safe? Are they being well respected? The whole 9 yards. That's not good for them, and it's not good for you. Half this information you have, you're digging for it. The children are sharing it with you, and it's very disturbing for you. But at any rate, he has found that match for himself, and that's what you're seeing. He's a different person. And this is the medicine that I mentioned. It may not go down as smoothly as you like. That was not going to be your life with him. That was not going to be your life with him. That's why you're not together right now. And I know that's hard to hear, but that was never going to be your life. And it's based on evolution, space and time, who both of you are. And again, it sounds like you really tried for it. Now, I'm a prime example. You know, the young woman I was in that toxic relationship, I could, you know, light years difference. When I met Mr. Kiss, this is a person loving in every area. We don't trigger each other. It's kind, it's chill, it's pleasant, it's a warm, bonded exchange. You know, again, there's no underbelly of triggering where he knows, you know, that those wounded parts that, thank you, Jesus, have healed. He doesn't pour salt in that or poke those. That's where he provides the greatest level of support. You know, he knew my history. And so he made sure on his end, you know, I understand. I can only imagine what that must have felt like. And he's gone out of his way to demonstrate, I'm a person you can depend on. I'm here. I'm not going to throw you those curveballs. You know, I'm not going to talk to you in the way that you've been talked to in the past, and it's very triggering for you. And I myself is the same. That soft underbelly, those vulnerable parts, that's where I'm supporting him the most. That, my friends, is what a healthy partnership is all about. I've been in both. I've been in highly toxic, and I've been in healthy relationships, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a significant other, whatever, family member, whatever the case may be. In a healthy relationship, what people are looking to do is support you. And there's also something to be said here for healing. You know, when those triggers are active, I'm a firm believer there are spaces in time where people, you don't need to be touch any kind of relationship with a 10-foot pole. What you need to do is be focused on yourself and healing. But it doesn't help when you're trying to do that work and situate yourself, and you're just with someone who exactly kind of where you're trying to heal and maneuver. That's where their behaviors or their mentality is triggering to you. You know, I work with so many people, different kinds of people over the years, and both men and women. And they'll say to me, you know, Sheila, I realize that I have some insecurities that I need to work on, but this person just doesn't make it any better. You know, we're out, they're looking at people, you know, that's a trigger for me. They make comments and being passive aggressive. I can't tell if they're playing head games with me. A lot of that happened in my past. You know, you really have to look at what I call, and I want to give you 3 very specific things to think about, you know, as you are making decisions around, you know, healing your triggers, who you're in a relationship with, how you want to proceed inside of that or not. Number 1, it is so important that you are in touch with your package of celebrations, meaning what in you are you, hey, this is where I knocked the ball out of the park. This is a celebration. I've grown in this area, or maybe this is something that has come so naturally to me. I'm just good at it. This is my celebrations package, including all the things you're grateful for. And then over here, what we don't want to look at, but we need to unpack it, I call it what is the pain package. We need to know what are you dealing with in terms of where you need to be healed, where are your triggers, where's all that. The more you know about yourself, the better you can set yourself up to have a partnership that's complementary to you, to have relationships and friendships in your life that are complementary to you, so you're not being triggered left and right. Now, again, I'll go back to the point that I made before. Sometimes a healthy relationship has to do with you kind of putting yourself on the sidelines and healing, and then you won't be triggered so doggone much. But what I've seen, more oftentimes than not, people pair off and they haven't really sat and asked, what is it that I need based on who I am? What's kind of the best friendship for me, the best personality for me? Secondly, I want you, if you find you're in a relationship where you're upset, you're frustrated, you're triggered all the time, you're spending more time trying to dissect, understand, and talk about the relationship than enjoying the relationship, ding-a-ling, ding, 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 you may be in something that's highly triggering. And I want you to ask yourself, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Many years ago, that is the very question that started to turn the tide for me. Why is this happening? I'm crying. I'm not happy. I'm constantly on 10. I'm on pins and needles. And that's what happens, by the way, when you're in these highly triggering relationships. You can't hit equilibrium because you try to settle into it and boom, there's another trigger. Something else flies out of their mouth, or you get another curveball. So you can't, the problem with triggering is you never come into that settled, cozy nook spot in the relationship. So I had to ask myself, what the heck is going on here? And you know what? Tell the truth and shame the devil. And I did that. And finally, straight between I answered the question. Number one, you're being triggered because of your emotional immaturity, Sheila. That's the first point right there. And secondly, have you taken a look at who you're dealing with? In one case, it was a family member. In another case, it was a dating relationship. Darling, they can't give you what you need. They can't give you what you need. They're not, doesn't mean they're bad. Well, one of them, so. But doesn't mean that, they're a terrible person. It means you're in something where in many areas you cannot get what you need here. So get this visual of me. I'm dipping this bucket into the well of these relationships, just wanting some fresh spring water. And the bucket kept coming up empty. It ain't there, baby. And so when I faced that, worked on my level of accountability and growing into those higher levels, those deeper levels of maturity, and just looking like this ain't what you're going to get. You have to deal with it and embrace it. So that's a key question. Why is this happening? Why am I being triggered like this? And then the third question I want you to ask yourself is this how I want to live? Is this, with the limited amount of time that we all have, we don't really know how much time we have, but we know it's limited because life goes pretty darn fast. Is this how I want to spend? Is this how I want to spend my time? I can tell you my answer was no. And when I stepped out of those toxic relationships, I was fully prepared to go the distance. I mean, my prayer was, Father, my faith tells me that you have more for me than this. Like if this is what you have for me in terms of partnership, I know that I'm going to do better on a solo journey because I'm not going to cannibalize myself. There may be some lonely moments to deal with, but I won't be here in this, constantly being triggered. And I don't know about you all, hit me up in the comments. I was, and I've never been afraid of a hard life, and thank the Lord, it's gotten better and better every step of the way. But I just didn't, hard life is one thing, but picked apart is another. I didn't want to be picked apart and picked over. And that is what I have seen these relationships do to people, where eventually you look up and you are a shell. You are a shell of your former self. A lovely former client, I reach out to her, maybe every other year or so. Worked with her many years ago, and she had come out of a bad situation. And she just said, she looked at me and said, Sheila, I'm done. Like, this one took everything out of me. And, people talk all the time. I thought, well, she just needs some time to reset. She's going to be fine. And I would check in with her over the years. And, how you doing, Sheila? I'm still here. I'm in my beautiful home. I have no desire, no intention. I really want to I've got my pets. And it was really, as far as I know, this is still, how she set up a life of solitude. She chose it, but it was the impact. And she was very straightforward. I can't, relationship, this last one took everything out of me. This is the best that I can do. And today, I fully believe her. I fully do. And it was just the nerves being frayed, and full transparency. She said, I can't take another upset. And so, again, a life of isolation, a life of choosing, but I see what these relationships can do to a person over time. So I'm encouraging, anyone, if you say, Sheila, I don't know if I have any other options besides what I'm dealing with. I'm going to tell you something. There's always options. We have to have the courage to look at them and travel down different paths. Healthy, balanced relationships are not constantly sending you through the roof, are not constantly leaving you scratching your head, are not constantly leaving you in tears, are not constantly putting you in a place where you are chasing your tail. I can't stress it enough. I've been in all manner of relationships, and healthy ones are the best. Starting fundamentally with a healthy relationship within your heart, body, mind, spirit, soul. Sharon, my bottom line advice for you, you have too much energy going into the direction of your former partner's life. He has moved on. He is happy. There is a baby on the way. You said you don't look your best. You don't feel your best. You're losing traction. It is time to have the come to Jesus moment where you embrace what has happened. It was a toxic mix. You were being triggered all the time. Those are your words. It's time to heal and move on with a match that can make you as happy as he is. Start with the joy within. You don't have to feel this stuff from the inside out. Fake it till you make it. When your kids come home, hey, did you have a good time? Okay, great, great. You don't need to ask probing questions. All that's going to do is trigger you. Let's get into some walking. Let's get into some fresh water, some warm tea, some meditations. Get some things on the calendar with your friend. Get out here and shake a leg. You see what he did? He moved, moved on. I got to heal. I want to have a happy life. And chances are, you put himself in a position to do it. You can do the same. Get your focus off of him and his life and get your focus on healing. That door, that chapter is done. I wrote in my one of my books, The Stepping Off Point, nothing good together ever breaks apart. This is the truth. Nothing good together ever breaks apart. So I hope you get some good little nuggets around triggering and some new fresh ways to think about this in your life. This is Auntie Sheila. I'll be back real soon. It's always a joy and a pleasure to connect with you. And if you're loving what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also, I've been away for a little bit, but I am opening back up interviews for my Tools Not Talk platform. That's an accountability community. We have fun with it. We hold you accountable. So I look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye-bye.